Hi, I'm Adrian Lam. For my pitch, I will describe how I will make a film memoir on my life in the form of a short documentary video called The Young Man from Hong Kong. According to Tony Dwolman, the professor of media, communication and culture at London University, the availability of digital recording devices means making film autobiography is more popular. Thus, my concept of making a film memoir by pointing my phone at myself and my environment. When a filmmaker self-shoots, they are at the heart of the autoethnographic narrative. The first-person storyteller might develop defined aims to tell their story, but insights into their attitudes and behaviors may be unknowingly disclosed. I'm interested in exploring the concept of self-identity. I'll be working from a storyboard and script, but as a participant observer videographer, I may reveal more about myself than originally intended. I may end up with two stories, an interesting transmedia element. As an international student living in one-room uni accommodation, I often feel like an outsider. As a person of two diverse cultures, I wonder who I am. According to Julia Lesage, professor of English at Oregon University, the makers of film memoir are often migrants or those with a contested life. They use images to emotionally capture the past, which I believe it will apply to me. My video will contain a soundtrack, which Lesage says interpret the person's past or complex identity. My video could be adapted to a group project featuring memoirs or biographies, or one based on exploring people and places. Not many domestic students realize what the life of an international student is like, especially one that lives in uni accommodation. As Dorothy said in the 1939 film The Wizard of Oz, there's no place like home. It can be lonely, living across the world, separated from family and friends. Even though I have made a few close friends here, I'm frequently homesick for my native Hong Kong and for the life I used to lead in that crowded, busy city. The rich culture of the East is deeply ingrained in my personality. However, the experience of living in the West means you adapt and change too. This is an exciting and interesting process of discovery. This is the rationale behind my decision to make an autobiographical video. Part 1 of the video will contain photos, video footage, and a voiceover of my history of living in Australia since 2017, like where I went to school and the family I boarded with. It will also contain photos of my family and friends in Hong Kong and of the apartment building where I lived. Hong Kong is a congested city of 7 million people, living in nearly 8,000 high-rise buildings in a long, narrow strip between the ocean and the mountains. When I went home in 2018 after spending a year here, I had culture shock. It took me several days to get used to the crowds, noise, and chaos again. Even the sea is busy with ferries, cargo ships, and private boats crossing the harbour non-stop. Wollongong, on the other hand, with a small population, is so open and laid-back compared with the frantic pace of Hong Kong. Yet, despite the space outside, my life in Wollongong is also lived on a smaller scale than in Hong Kong. I live in one room in a uni accommodation. I want to show just how confining and lonely that can be, especially during COVID restrictions. I'll film video footage of my room and obtain photos from the internet to show the incredible difference between Hong Kong and here and describe it in voiceover. Where appropriate throughout part 1, I may add written words to the footage and photos to highlight important points. Part 2 of the video will concentrate on where I used to shop in Hong Kong compared to here. I go to Asian supermarkets in Keria Street to buy Chinese food that I can microwave quickly in the communal kitchen. I go to Wollongong's Little Asia a lot to buy takeaways. Most domestic students will shop at regular supermarkets, and while they may eat Asian food, it does not constitute a major part of their diet. In this part, video footage will be shown along with photos and written captions or commentary. I'll give an explanation by speaking directly to camera and use voiceover for any photographs. Throughout the video, my aim is to show the differences between my life in Hong Kong and Wollongong. However, Part 3 will look at both differences and similarities, like where I hang out, what I do for entertainment, sport, and fun in Wollongong compared to Hong Kong. I'll use video footage and speak live to camera for the Wollongong information and use photos for the Hong Kong details. The video will contain a soundtrack. I'll try to give the whole video treatment of my life in Wollongong compared with Hong Kong an honest, engaging approach with a little injected humor to reveal as much of my personality and experience as possible. I hope this will make the video interesting for my audience of other UOW students. I believe the concept and structure of the film can be used in a group project where others may have made an autobiographical video of themselves or biographical video of another, such as an Australian student living with family. It could also be used as part of a group video centered on a particular place or places. For example, on a town or a city.